Today, welcome to another broadcast of TyTy Takeaways, and we're glad y'all have tuned in with us today.
On a Monday morning.
Monday afternoon, and it's been a Monday.
It's been a Monday.
What's your favorite day of the week?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I mean, usually I would look forward to Sunday, to come to Sunday school and church and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Sunday is one of the hardest mornings to get out the door and get everything going.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
It's a hard day, but one that I look forward to, coming to see our church family and everything like that.
What's your favorite month?
What's your favorite
My
day?
favorite day is payday.
Oh my goodness.
What's your favorite month of the year?
October.
Why?
Because it's the fall.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's your birthday.
And it's my birthday month, but I love the fall.
So you like the fall out of all 4 seasons, you would say the fall?
Yes.
Yeah.
The pumpkin spice and everything.
Oh,
nice.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
The pretty leaves and the wearing my cowgirl boots and like just all the colors of fall, the leaves, the hot chocolate, hot tea, pumpkin patches, like the whole experience.
So what would be your favorite holiday? Not your birthday. That's not a holiday. What's your favorite holiday? July the 4th.
Well, probably. Gosh, that's a hard one. What are the holidays again?
So you have Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter.
It's hard because holidays are a trigger for me, so that's why I'm not answering the question.
Okay.
Holidays are depressing for me, just to be quite honest.
Okay, well.
So I don't really.
So you like.
I enjoy looking the weeks before the holiday, but like.
So do you remember? Did you ever watch Alice in Wonderland? Do you remember they had the unbirthdays?
Kind of.
Very merry unbirthday to you, to who, to me, And so they celebrated because they said that on your birthday you get to celebrate it one day a year.
Oh.
But if you celebrate all of your unbirthdays, you get to celebrate 364 times a year. So they were celebrating the unbirthdays. So you can celebrate the unholidays.
That's why every December I try to get you to take us out of town over Christmas, but like I don't think we have except maybe once. I'm like, can we please just go somewhere so that I don't have to.
But see, I enjoy like the stockings and the tree. And
I do love to decorate for Christmas. And y'all, at the yard sale, there's some good Christmas decorations. Y'all, shout out to everybody who's already donated stuff to the multi-family yard sale that's this Saturday.
Speaking of the yard sale,
oh my word, y'y'all.
Some
of us have already been shopping and donated.
Let me share with you about this yard sale. Can I have a 30-second moment here?
And go watch my video of all the stuff that's already there.
So let me tell you about our yard sale. So our yard sale, led by our fearless leader. I'm not going to mention her name.
2 leaders.
Because this fearless leader, Sunday, after church, her key fob broke. And she couldn't get in her key. I'm not mentioning names.
Don't tell her name, okay?
Hey, listen, I'm going to change the names to protect the innocent. I'm talking about Ham Paskins, okay? We're going to change the names here.
Oh, my God.
And so Ham was trying to get into her car after church. And the key fob was broken. And this person's loved one was really given time and energy and sweat equity to help them get into their car, trying to use the key. I'm talking about really laboring.
No damage was done. Except of the ego.
And you know what happened? You know what happened, Brandy?
Yes. No.
It was the wrong car. And so I'm not going to mention any names, but
that's how hard folks are working around here.
Have you ever got in the wrong car?
I don't think I ever have.
Listen, Ty Cottle said,
I drive such weird old cars that mine's pretty much the ugliest, oldest car. So I think I would love to hop in somebody's nicer car. There's a story of my Nana. She had to climb out the window one time when she got locked in or out of it, and me and my Nana were laughing. She's funny. That's funny.
So
but you can drop off stuff. Can I get back to the yard sale?
Yeah, I was on the yard sale there.
So go look at the video I posted and share this all over your social media, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. I don't even know all the outlets now, but like share this. And people can come shop this Saturday from 7 to 1 in the gym. It's an indoor yard sale. All the proceeds will go to our church building fund. Y'all, people have already been shopping and bought stuff, and the gym is full of stuff. It's amazing. Some good stuff.
Yeah.
So, also tonight is the blood drive going on right now until 7 o'clock tonight. 7. The blood drive in the social hall. So come on out and give blood if you're able to. And then I'm not able to. All right. Caveat. I had to get iron infusions. So you don't want, if you're able to give blood, come give blood. And then also we have overtime tomorrow morning. We have
tomorrow's Joy Fellowship.
Oh, is that where they're going to?
They're meeting at 10:30 to go to Blackbeard's barbecue tomorrow at 10:30.
Oh yeah, we did put that in the quick cast last week. So yeah, they're going out to eat, and I think it's in Albany.
No, it's here, Blackbeard's barbecue.
No, they're going to Albany, I think.
Okay.
But anyways, Blackbeard's barbecue, B&B barbecue. They have seafood and barbecue. Lisa Rosin said they have a lot of good food. I wanted us to go to that, but I don't know if we're going to be able to go to that. Anyways, so then Wednesday night, the youth are sharing in the adult service. Some of the youth, I think, are getting baptized. Maybe one or two of the youth that recently got saved. So come on out, support the youth. Hear what they have to say about how youth camp went, and come support the youth. That'll be really exciting. This Saturday is the Youth Lake Day. They're leaving, I think, at 9 a.m. You can ask Joel and Heather for more details about that. So those are just the quick announcements. The biggest announcement is the 21-day prayer and fasting. We sent y'all the guide this morning through a quick cast. I think it's also posted on the church Facebook page. If you can't find it, let us know. You printed some off, and gosh, 75 copies got gone. You made more. Anyways, I'm so happy to see so many people grab a prayer guide. We did that this morning. So what are y'all fasting from? If you want to comment what you are fasting from, what are you fasting from, or what kind of fast are you doing?
So I'm doing like a vegetable and fruit fast. So I'm just eating fruits and vegetables, no meats, no desserts, nothing like that.
I thought it was weird when he got in the car from the gas station and had carrots.
I had carrots.
Sticks, like in a pickle bag. I was like, carrot cuties. Yes. What is? And then he said, "Oh, a vegetable fast."
Yeah, so I'm doing mostly a vegetable fast, maybe a few fruits in there, but that's where I'm headed right now. So that's my plan. I may do a few like complete food fast days in there. So that's where I'm leaning towards.
And because in my past I've been like hypoglycemic and get weak and shaky if I don't eat enough for certain amounts of like carbs and proteins, I usually don't abstain from like a whole food group because I've tried that and I'll pass out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see how this goes and see if I need to fast from like something else along with it or something different, but is to fast from like scrolling on social media. Right? So just to, like, if I have to post something for work, post that, but then don't get on social media just for fun or to scroll. That will be, that will be probably hard for me, at least recently, where I feel maybe stressed out or something and just tempted to scroll and see what all your friends are doing on Facebook. So that's what I'm going to do. Y'all share with me what y'all are going to do. Share with me and John what y'all are going to fast from. If you've never fasted before, let us know. Somebody reached out to me this morning. They were like, look, I've never fasted before. What should I fast from? So we're here to give you advice and help and support. Share it in the comments. Any questions that you have about this. But what is the purpose of fasting?
What is the purpose of this fast that we're doing as a church?
And in general, both.
The purpose of this fast is, one, just to humble ourselves before the Lord, and to set aside some days, 21 days of prayer, seeking the Lord. Fasting is an opportunity. Jesus said when you fast. So fasting and prayer are connected, but it's a time to deny yourself something and to use the time that you would spend doing that, or the nourishment you would receive eating that, to give that time to seeking the Lord, praying. We included this prayer guide, a 21-day prayer guide.
So, for example, when I was at Tropical Cafe getting my lunch today, and I was sitting there, and even though 7 people ordered after me, they all got their food before me, and I was sitting there waiting, and I was tempted to like scroll, and I was like, no, that's what I'm fasting from. So instead of scrolling, I said, okay, Lord, I'm praying, I'm coming to you. So that's kind of what we're supposed to do.
And so what it is, it's not just abstaining from something, but it's replacing that something with prayer and the word. And so like today's focus is on surrendering our will. That's how we're starting today. Luke 22:42. It says, Lord, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not my will be done, but your will be done. And that's the title of this fast, not my will, but yours. And so what that verse means is sometimes we have opportunities to do things, and we need to pray, God, is this your will, or God, do you want me to do something else? Sometimes you may be facing a hard thing that you just wish would pass. But you have to, instead of jumping out of the frying pan into the fire, it's saying, God, if you want me to be here, God, not my will, but your will be done. And so then the prayer points we're looking at today is we're asking God to give us strength to surrender our personal plans. And that's, we make plans, but God determines our steps. And it's good to have plans. There's nothing wrong with having plans, but those plans need to be surrendered to the Lord. And then we're talking about asking God to align us with His purposes. God, align
not my will, but His will.
Align my will with yours. Align my mind with your mind. Align my heart with your heart. Align my thoughts with your thoughts. My words with your words. And we're asking God to get us in alignment to know His will during this time. Because we got a lot of decisions to make. We got growing space issues. We have new believers that we're trying to help get rooted and established. We have buildings and budgets and leadership. We have so many moving parts that we need a season of fasting and prayer.
And if y'all went to Sunday school last Sunday, the lesson was exactly what we're dealing with in the church now. The lesson was on how there was rapid growth in the Bible times. Was it Acts? Anyways, there was rapid growth, and because of the rapid growth and the number of disciples, they had to, choose deacons who ministered food to the widows, and they had some logistical challenges and tension and things. And so our church is growing rapidly, even over the summertime. I mean, rapid growth, and that causes logistical transitions and things like that. So I think of a verse that goes along with day one of the fast, Proverbs 3:5-6, which is my life verse. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. And that verse has guided me through each major milestone and major decision of my life where I didn't know what to do, whether it was where should I go to college, or who should I marry, or where should I live? Should I move out of Oconee County or stay there forever? And I would go back to, okay, Lord, you say trust in you, you say acknowledge you, Lord, where do you want me to live? Who do you want me to marry? What job do you want me to take? And if we're willing to surrender our will, so here's where most people mess up. They're not surrendering their will to God. They're saying, well, I'm just going to go to where the most money is and where the richest man to marry is, or the prettiest girl to marry. That's wrong. That is wrong, wrong, wrong. You have to not look at the outward appearance, or you can't look at the money or the appearance. You have to look at God's will. God, who do you want me to marry? I truly believe God has one spouse He wants you to marry, and if you ask Him, He'll show you.
And God's not going to ask you to marry somebody that you think's ugly. I mean, that's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? But look, everybody needs loving. So, God makes us all certain. I need to speak to that part of it. I mean, I've never met somebody that said, man, I'm married and man, she is just so dog ugly. I mean, nobody's ever said that.
God designed marriage to be a beautiful picture of Christ and His bride, the church.
Humor in there.
And, God designed it to be a beautiful thing.
That's true.
A beautiful thing. But so, question that I want to hear y'all say in the comments, the reflection for day one. What does not my will mean for you today? Let me see if I can see if anybody's in the comments. We are on here earlier today. But John, do you want to answer that question, or do we want to let them answer the question? Yeah. What does not my will mean for you today?
Yeah. I don't have anything specific, You know, I've asked God to show me what areas of my life I'm not surrendered in right now. You know, because I believe there's always more to surrender, you know, and sometimes things that we surrender, we take back up again, you know, like sometimes we have to re-surrender areas of our life. You know, I know that just simply, I know I have ideas that I would like to see done in ministry or whatever that case may be, but I don't know that they're God's will. And so I have to surrender those and wait on God's timing. There are some things I would love to do that I believe are God's will, but the timing may not be right. So I have to surrender my will and timing on things. So it's not only surrendering to the thing, it's also surrendering to the timing of the thing. And so that's sometimes a challenge, you know, to surrender to that.
Yeah. So, do you want to get into your sermon from Sunday morning?
Why not?
So, Jesus is omniscient.
Oh, yeah.
I love to ask, like, younger people. Like, I asked the vacation Bible school class that I taught, which was the 5th and 6th grade. I said, y'all, because one of the lessons was on, you know, Jesus being, or God being omniscient. And I was like, do y'all know what that word means? What is omniscient? And then you preached on it Sunday. Omniscient means all-knowing. You know, omnipotent means all-powerful. Omnipresent means he's everywhere, right? And so I'm a word junkie. I love words, right? So I love meanings of words. And it's cool that you preached on something that Vacation Bible School was about, you know, magnifying God and how God is big, but he cares about the smallest of things, and about how God sees everything and how God's not a liar, but how one lesson at VBS was on that, and how God sees everything and he cares about little things, and how God loves you, but he's not okay with sin. It was a great curriculum for VBS this past time, whoever wrote the curriculum. But you preached about Jesus being omniscient. And I think we all know deep down that, like, God does know everything, but do we live that way? No, we don't always live that way. We don't always act like Jesus knows. Maybe we do. I don't know. But so Miss Pam said, being obedient to what God wants, sacrificing what you want because of your love for him. Yeah, that's so good. We have to deny ourselves so often. As a Christian, I mean, you know, sometimes he tells us to deny ourselves or deny our flesh. We see that as parents. Like, even the other day, like, it was kind of sweet. Like me, I wanted to spend my day off work going to the pool, like going to the swimming pool, which I am sunburned from doing that. But my 2 younger sons didn't want to go to the pool. They wanted to go to Lowe's and do a little... They wanted to buy something, and I thought, oh my gosh, I hate going to Lowe's. I hate it with a passion. I was like, I don't want to spend my day off work going to Lowe's. But you know what? I was like, I'm going to deny myself. I'm going to put my kids before my desires. And I was like, you know, I said, JD, I'll go to Lowe's. And what was sweet was JD said, oh, Mom, I know you want to go to the pool. It's okay. We don't have to go to Lowe's. We can go to the pool. And I was like, oh, JD, that's so sweet. I said, but we'll go to Lowe's tonight and we'll go to the pool tomorrow. And so me and JD, he's only 14, and it was sweet that he was willing to deny himself for me, and I was willing to deny myself for him. But we went to Lowe's one night, and the next day we went to the pool. So we they got their way one day, I got my way the next way.
I didn't get
my way. You never get your
way.
Hey, you got to take a nap at the pool.
I did take a nap at the pool.
So at least you got a nap.
I take a nap anywhere. I took a nap today in the car
I was knocking on the door, like, with my smoothie and my free smoothie, and he was asleep in the car.
Some people call it, you know, some people call it narcolepsy. I call it a blessing.
Nate, he's got something.
I can sleep anywhere.
He falls asleep way too easy.
Brandy said, I need your medicine.
Your medicine.
That's a whole process on getting that. You gotta do day study and night study.
But we looked at, like, Jesus talked about, you know, we saw a superficial faith, and you know, Jesus was sharing and dealing with people who put their trust in miracles and signs, and that's never a satisfied faith because it always needs more. And if your faith is only in the blessings that Jesus brings, that faith doesn't stand the test in the trials that come with being a Christian. And I've heard many preachers say this, and I like it. A faith that can't be tested is a faith that can't be trusted. And I wouldn't trust in a faith that can't be tested on this earth. And so we talked about a superficial faith, and then we talked about a discerning Savior. You know, he discerned what was in the heart of the people. He knew their motive. He knew their heart. So he did not commit himself to them. So it reads this way: they believed in him, but he didn't believe in them. In other words, he knew that their faith was a shallow, superficial faith.
So you talked about deep devotion versus surface level enthusiasm. That's key for our culture right now as a whole.
Well, today you got this external enthusiasm about spiritual things or Christian things, but then a totally different lifestyle connected to that. And that's what, James, one of your favorite books of the Bible, James says that salt water and fresh water can't come out of the same spring. And here's what that means. Like, what happens if you mix fresh water and salt water? It becomes salt water. You can't have both. So to have
I knew the answer. I just
to have just a Sunday morning presentation or a Sunday morning enthusiasm that doesn't carry over through the days of the week.
To a lifestyle change.
Yeah, to a lifestyle of Christianity. And the sad thing is, we're living in a day where so many can come on camera and say things, but then live a different life, and that's confusing to a generation. You've got it causes a lukewarm Christian culture. And again, you've seen it, I've seen it, but I've seen Christians wear T-shirts or have slogans that say, "I love Jesus and cuss a little. I love Jesus and I drink a little. I love Jesus." And what that does is that creates this culture of what I say and what I do don't have to be connectable.
So why would a lost person even want to get saved if they think, oh, it's no different?
Well,
and
I
for
think
people who don't want to...
More than that, I think it makes lost people want to make an empty profession because they believe, oh, if they are a Christian, I can be one too. And so what it does is I don't think it turns people away from Christianity. I think it condemns people even more. And I spoke of a vaccination Sunday.
A religious vaccination.
Yeah, a religious vaccination is where you just get just enough to keep you from catching the real thing. And I think that's what happens is when there's an outward show and there's an inward corruption that doesn't match that, what happens is people say, oh, I can do that. I don't have to change. I don't have to give up. I don't have to repent. And then they get just enough of religion that they think, I'm okay. I'm safe. And it's like a spiritual vaccination. They get they get a small dose so they can't ever get the real thing. And that's scary to me. And that's why the Bible says don't be a stumbling block. Don't stumble someone. Jesus warned the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He said, look, you're preventing them that would enter the kingdom. You're standing in their way. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous to play with holy things. Very dangerous.
You said it's not enough to be publicly passionate. We must be inwardly surrendered.
Yeah. And it's amazing that the first part of our fasting is on surrender.
Yes.
And public passion and inward surrender, they have to match. It's not enough to be a fan. Jesus doesn't need a fan club and his followers. And so many are fans of Jesus. They're fans of just the movement or the image of it, but they're not followers of Christ.
A true disciple, is a follower of Jesus.
And so, question is: are you a fan or are you a follower? You know,
and a true disciple has to sacrifice something. Usually, Jesus calls you to leave something behind. I think this is out of Matthew 23:11, or starting at verse 11. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. And you shared this part of the verse in your sermon. Verse 13 was, but woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees. The Pharisees were the religious leaders. Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in.
Yes. And that means,
I'm trying to find the verse I was actually going to read. Here it is, verse 23. For woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee. So many people have deceived themselves in this generation. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you're like whitewashed tombs, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you're full of hypocrisy and iniquity. That's really sad. That's really, really sad.
Yeah.
And only Jesus can discern our hearts. Only Jesus knows. Like you said, only Jesus discerns whether it's superficial or real. And I heard a young girl share that she used to go around and share talks about God, and she would worship and raise her hand, and she said, but it was all fake. She was living a very corrupt lifestyle, and then she truly had an encounter with God, got saved, she repented out of that wicked lifestyle, and then it was real to her. And I thought, wow, that's really sad that was going on. But y'all, it can be real. That's the thing. I wonder if some people don't know it can be real. Jesus is real. He really is. And when you raise your hands and worship, it can be real from your heart.
That's right.
You can really mean it and feel God from your heart. So if y'all weren't here Sunday night, you need to go back and watch the Sunday night sermon. It was on the spiritual gift of leadership or administration. John talked a lot about Nehemiah and building the wall. If you haven't read that book, it's a great book of the Bible to read. So comment below if you have the gift of leadership or administration. But you talked about stay focused on the mission and the task. It's always about the work of God. So thank y'all for watching.